Hi everyone, welcome to the latest edition of Aftermatch Aftermath with myself, James and Jake. We are going to be discussing today Liverpool's victory over, I'm going to say it wrong, Midtjylland, and the recent Premier League game against West Ham at Anfield. So, Midtjylland might be a bit of a distant memory. A bit of a distant memory for you, Jake, but what's your initial reaction? What were your thoughts at the time?
Can you remember? I was supposed to go back and rewatch the highlights, and guess what I didn't do?
Well, it's 2-0.
I think I kind of... Yeah, I remember that. I think... Oh, no, I do remember, because I spent most of it in a panic about Fabinho. It was all right. It wasn't our best performance. You know, we got a 2-0, but it was a bit boring.
Yeah, it was... I mean... If I was gonna, I think, put it in a nutshell, just like FishStakes are in a nutshell. I'm gonna say a pretty drab performance for most part. Obviously the big injury to Fabinho, well, big-ish. So we're waiting to see what happens. I mean, hopefully it's weeks and not months. It looks positive. But yeah, then so Reece Williams had to come on in the Champions League to deputise for Fabinho at the back. Not much happened pretty much throughout the entire game, if I'm honest. It was fairly uneventful and not a great game to watch. How about you, James?
Yeah, I would say pretty forgettable on account of that I forgot and had to rewatch the highlights. Obviously, the big talking point is Fabinho's injury, because that's going to affect us going forward with Van Dijk out. Watching the highlights, the only major talking points I bring up is obviously Jota scoring again is a pretty big deal because he seems to be on form, which I'm sure we'll get into when we discuss West Ham. But also, and it's like Craig was listening to me watch the highlights, so he got my live reaction, but there was Trent squared the ball into the box for Firmino, who was practically looking at a square shot on a near enough open goal, and he skied it. So that again, I feel like is a pretty big talking point because Firmino is becoming a bit of an issue, I would say, with his recent form. So yeah, a little bit disappointed because I mean he's not getting the chances he used to get, and when he's getting them, he's making a mess of them on top of that. So it's a little bit of a worry. And with Jota being as good as he has been in recent games, it looks like his position might be in a little bit of danger.
So let me have a look. Let me just pull up the team sheet quite quickly because I think it was a rest for front three. So
yeah, Jota, Taki and Origi front three, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think was it Shaqiri in behind them in midfield.
They did.
So Henderson and Milner played probably in a more defensive roles, and then so it was sort of like a slightly different formation than what. Usually was it maybe a 4-2-3-1? Or was it a 4 diamond 3? 4-4-3 with.
Here on these stats it says 4-3-3, but Liverpool have been fairly liquid with their lineups lately, so they've been sort of adapting on the fly. So I don't really think there is a set thing.
I guess we're all sort of interlinked.
You're talking about the formation of the Midtjylland setup. Is this? Originally it was 4-2-3-1 with Salah being the striker, but I think when the front three came off, it just went back to 4-3-3.
I don't think it would have been Salah.
Salah didn't start.
I think it. Wait, Midtjylland?
Yeah. He wasn't on the pitch to start off with.
Was he not? No. What am I remembering then? Or maybe it is the same, I just got it the other way around.
None of the front three started.
Right, all the latest sports news and up-to-date facts brought to you by FishStakes every week. Yeah, so Shaqiri, Jota, Minamino and Origi started with Firmino, Mane and Salah on the bench.
Yep.
Hang on, I'll find out what I'm on about then. I'll find out what I'm on about. Come back to me.
I'm pretty sure it was a 4-3-3 anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so Fabinho got injured. Reece Williams came on. Any thoughts on how he did? I thought he conducted himself quite well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought he did all right. I mean, it was Midtjylland, so it's not like the biggest test in the world, but it also...
And it was a pretty boring game.
It is the Champions League, though, so it's a big stage, and it's a pretty big deal for like someone so young. So I guess he did all right in the situation, but it'd be interesting to see him in a bigger game.
So again, not too much happened up until... so half-time came and went. Henderson went off. No injury there. It was just a tactical thing to give him a half and Wijnaldum a half, just to manage to play. Not long after, on the 55th minute, Trent, I think, managed to beat his man, snuck around him, I think, near sort of like the corner flag, like approaching the edge of the box, and I think he whizzed a pass straight across, which Jota got on to the end of to score Liverpool's 10,000th goal.
Yeah,
indeed. Can I just mention about that? I remember the setup for that because I'm going to get into it more in the next game cover as well. Trent ran up, as you said, and passed it back to, I think it was Shaqiri, because he was making a run up the right. Now, Shaqiri, I think, did like a no-look through ball back to Trent before Trent then passed on to Jota. And it was incredible from Shaqiri. I'm going to get more into why it was incredible, but it was good. We can
come back to it. I mean, I feel like Shaqiri, the forgotten man, is suddenly finding himself with a bit of game time and playing quite well, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean...
Also, I just want to put a disclaimer in. The formation I was talking about, I was going back to the Sheffield match. Apologies.
I've always rated Shaqiri. Like, I know I've said to Jake a few times, he's an amazing player. He just doesn't play. But like when he plays, it's bloody awesome.
It's strange. He is clearly a talented player. It just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know if there's a behind-the-scenes bust-up or something. I know he's had injuries, but there was just for the longest time.
Some of them are suspicious. I mean, especially last season, he was injured for a very long time.
I think I read, was it today or yesterday, that apparently he might have had a bit of interest from, was it Bundesliga, to move away. But I think he decided that, he said, wherever he went, it would be a step down from Liverpool. So he changed his mind and said, I want to stay at Liverpool and fight for my place.
That was probably what the whole aftermatch of the Lincoln game was about, like why he wasn't involved in some of the games after the Lincoln match, because that was probably eyeing up a move back to the Bundesliga in some form. But ultimately, obviously decided against it.
So, that happened, and then on the 60th minute, Minamino and Origi were taken off, and Sky say, which I think I agree with, looks like they've missed their opportunity to impress Jurgen Klopp tonight. Mana and Salah were put on instead. Mane and Salah. Bleh. So yeah, I don't think, I feel like Origi was very, just like not present throughout the game. And I don't think it was Minamino's finest hour either, to be honest with you. I don't think granted, I don't think it was Liverpool's finest hour as a team. They weren't playing particularly great. They'd only just got the goal, and other than that, it was fairly drab, but yeah, wasn't impressed with both of them on the day, but
yeah, I know. Minamino had like two chances that he didn't put away, so maybe he needs to work on his finishing, because we could have been talking about 2-0 before half time, but unfortunately he didn't make the most of them, which isn't really good enough when you're down the middle of a front three at Liverpool. So yeah, bit of a shame about Minamino.
Yeah, and then later on, was it on the 81st minute, Jota came off. I don't think it was any fault of his own, but I think it was still 1-0. And I guess if it ended the draw at that point, it would have been a bit of a bad day. So, based on the opposition. So, Firmino was on, maybe to try and make sure, well, I don't know. Well, I don't really know. Based on his form lately, I don't know what he was going to achieve. But either way, we went back to the original front three. I think Klopp would have probably rather rested them all had he had the chance, but it was only 1-0.
Yeah. You just know it works, the original front three, don't you? So, even though Firmino's not on form, you just feel a bit more comfortable with all three of them there. So, I guess that's why. Like, it's not like Jota did anything wrong, but I feel like when you see them three in the lineup, it just feels comfortable.
And then just round off the game. I think it was like 90th or maybe 91st minute or something like that. I mean, when the original foul was. So I believe Salah was clipped in the box, penalty. I don't have any complaints. I think it was a penalty, from what I've seen. No controversy over that, and then pretty much right at the death, Salah scored a penalty and rounded it off at 2-0. I mean, I guess it's a shame the penalty came so late, as we could have been done with being 2-0 for quite a while earlier to put things at ease a bit. But yeah, so another win in the group stage. 2-0 away in the Champions League. I guess it's
6 points out of 6 points.
Yeah, and then there was the injury to Fabinho, which we're still waiting to hear on, but like it won't be until
hamstring
after
injury,
the international
just to clarify,
break.
if anyone doesn't know, hamstring injury.
So hopefully it's weeks. So could be after the international break, which is after this weekend coming. So there's a chance.
I think he said somewhere that's the likely option.
Well,
I don't know where he said that. If it was in a press conference or just after the game.
I mean, you'd think.
Like
I mean,
after.
it almost definitely will be. Do you know what I mean? If he's not in training now, he's not going to play at City, and then at that point, you've at least got the international break for recovery. So
I actually wrote down at the time who my man of the match for this game was, which I think may sum up what I actually thought of the game. But I'll go to you.
Before
before
we go into that, the predictions we had written down slightly different to what actually happened. So I'll go through. Craig, you got 4-0 written down. You had Salah twice, Mane and Milner. James, you also had 4-0, Salah twice again, Mane and Taki. And I had 3-0, Mane, Salah and Mane. So none of us were right there, unfortunately.
Smashed it.
in fairness, very different team to what any of us expected. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be a very different team, depending on when you're watching this. I guess tonight.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
So do I.
Tomorrow at time of recording. But we'll we can discuss that at the end in the build up of what's to come.
Yeah.
Can either of you remember who you would have gave man of the match to?
Yeah, I think I would have gone with Trent.
Okay. Solid choice.
I feel like he had a strong game. Yeah, he put in that obviously assist for Jota. He also set up Firmino, who messed it up. So I feel like, he did his job.
Alright, Craig, do you want to go next?
Yes. This is immediately after the match, after watching the match. I wrote down my man of the match was Alisson, because I thought, for most part, the team were pretty drab. And I actually thought he played fantastically well and kept them in it.
Okay. Alright. That's fair.
So,
I can see that.
So I gave it to him.
See,
but
mine was done after the match, so I knew who the actual man of the match was, which has affected my decision in some form. I went for Jota. Just because he scored the goal. He looked on form.
Deserved,
so.
Yeah. Very good.
No, the man of the match was Trent, if you didn't know. It was actually Trent. So, James, you got that right.
I should have. We need to start doing points to man of the match, because I always get the man of the match right.
Do we want to start doing? Because we can.
No, it's too easy to cheat in it because they announce it so quickly.
I mean, we can say now who we think the man of the match will be.
On that.
We can say now who.
We could do it in the we could do it in the predictions.
I can say man of the match tomorrow night will be Jota.
Oh, that's insanity though.
It's very hard to guess. It's almost like doing the lineup, but we could do if we wanted to.
I mean, just have to pinky swear we haven't looked or heard who the man of the match was by the time we do this. Right, let me go back to. I need to find the next game.
So it's a West Ham game now, isn't it?
Yep,
West Ham.
There's nothing else about the Midtjylland we need to cover, is there?
I don't think so.
I really don't think so.
No. We've done the predictions. We've done the man of the match. On to the West Ham game. Who wants to take us in?
Right, Western Ham.
I'm trying to find it so James can roll with it.
Western Ham. Right, let's see. Lineup. Standard lineup. Front three were back. Regular defence, and in midfield we had Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Curtis Jones. There's maybe a talking point.
Oh, don't forget we've seen a debut in defence.
Oh, yeah, not a regular defence.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Defense,
Well,
it's a
it can't be a regular defence because obviously
no, it
Van
can't
Dijk.
be, but, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Let's start with the lineup then. Immediate thoughts on the lineup.
Surprised?
At what?
Purely just by the Nat Phillips
yeah.
announcement. I thought it was going to be Reece.
What about Curtis Jones as well?
A little bit surprised, but not. You know, it's becoming a normal a little bit now. Like when he can, he gets game time, doesn't he? Really. So in these kind of matches, I expect to see him more.
I mean, for me, it sort of showed for me how somewhat injury-stricken we are right now because, well, I'll say, Nat Phillips, I mean, I knew of him. I think he maybe played once before for Liverpool at some point.
Yeah, I believe he played in...
It might have been against Everton in the Cup when he played all the kids.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was.
But yeah, so I thought it could have been Reece, but then obviously like he played a long game that was unexpected, and it was obviously like the games are coming thick and fast. So maybe he thought because Nat Phillips isn't in the Champions League squad, maybe he thought that Reece may very well play tomorrow. He thought I'll use Nat Phillips in the league because I can't use him in the midweek. So maybe juggling like that.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I was a bit surprised, but I get the logic. And Curtis Jones, I mean, I look at the options who was on the bench. Said Milner was on the bench, but he played all or a fair share of the Midtjylland game. Minamino played a decent chunk of it. Well, he played an hour. I suspect he'll probably play again tomorrow. I think Jota was on for the vast majority of the game, I think, going off in the 80th minute. And I think Shaqiri was on for quite a while from memory, because I'm not even sure if Shaqiri went off in the end in the Midtjylland game. So I get it because they all played.
He did.
So and they all played a
Came
fair
on in the
bit.
70th minute for Firmino. Or was it Curtis Jones? It was a double sub, so.
Yeah, so I look at the options and I thought maybe we'll see. Maybe he might have played Milner, or maybe Minamino, or maybe Shaqiri might have been in midfield instead. But based off how quickly the games are coming and trying to manage them, I guess it makes sense to play Curtis Jones. I've got nothing against Curtis Jones. I wish we had a somewhat better option because, I mean, he is still young. I mean, I'm not doubting he's definitely a talent and he can play, but I mean, I'm like, is that really our best option?
He's got potential, but at the time we're currently in, with our defence as weak as it is, I think we should try and go with as strong of a squad as we could. And it does worry me a little bit when I see him on the team sheet in these times.
I mean, I think we did, to be fair. Like, I don't know who you could have really played instead of him, given the injuries that we have and everything. There was no Thiago, there was no Keita.
Ox is long.
Yeah, there's no Ox. There's no Fabinho.
And
I thought they might have been able to do like
and
a different
Alana's gone.
formation, but again, that's getting into the
yeah.
whole specifics of do we want to do a different formation or anything like that.
Yeah, so
Lost
Lallana
other things we could have done, which would have
injuries.
been more dramatic.
Lallana would have been great in that game.
Yeah, and then Milner's getting on and played a fair stint in the Champions League. So, I mean, I know he's a bit of an anomaly, and he probably could have come on and probably would have ran more than anyone on the pitch. But I feel like you need to manage his time wisely a bit. So, anything to discuss before the 10-minute mark?
Specifically before the 10-minute mark?
Don't think so.
Not really. I've got some
I think
overall
we all know
thoughts, but
what happened at the 10-minute mark.
you know.
So, 10-minute mark. Liverpool fell behind at home again, which is one of their favourite tricks this year. So, from what I can remember, they had a shot or maybe a cross in.
It was a cross in.
And
It was a cross in, yeah.
Quote unquote cleared by Joe Gomez.
Yeah, and I feel like when I've watched it back, I feel like he's got time, he's got a fair bit of space. I wouldn't say he's under immense pressure, but in that situation, all he does is head it straight to, was it 4-0?
4-0.
And he commits to the header as well.
Yeah, and I'm like, right. I was like,
it honestly looked harder to head that ball than to just kick it.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
what I thought. Because at first I was excusing him. I was like, okay, maybe that was just the position he was in. That's the best he could do. But then it showed it back on a replay, and I was like, okay, maybe not.
I think it was very, very poor by Gomez in this regard.
Yeah, I question the judgment.
It was like, if that was Jamie Carragher, that ball would have been on its way to Goodison. And, that's probably
to be honest,
what I would have done.
I feel like Van Dijk doesn't do that either. And he did used to, but I feel like Van Dijk, like when we signed Van Dijk, he was amazing, but he also, when he had to, he did the basics. Like, he'd just smash it into the crowd if it needed it. Now I feel like he's got into this character of he's so good that and it's partly where the mistakes came from with against Arsenal and that, where he'll just try and sort of flick it backwards around the attacker and then play it back out again. It's like he's lost those basics of just right, when you're under pressure in the box, just kick it out. And obviously Gomez is playing alongside him for so long, and he's obviously picking stuff off him. I don't know whether it's just a little bit of bad habits that the two of them are getting into. Because I've noticed with Van Dijk recently, he has stopped just doing the basics now, and he's a little bit more fancy with it, and that's when the mistakes creep in.
He doesn't do it as much as he used to, and there is an element of that which could feed to Gomez, but I still wouldn't alleviate him of all of the blame, because Van Dijk kind of does it.
I'm not saying it was definitely a mistake. I'm just saying I feel like it's something that just looks like it's creeping into the Liverpool defence as a whole. It's like we've stopped doing the basics and we're trying to be fancy all the time.
The one thing I will say is usually Van Dijk does that when he's under pressure, and Gomez did that when he wasn't under pressure. So that's why I question it.
I will say, it was a mistake, but after that, he didn't really put a foot wrong for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to mention about that specifically, though, is obviously it was a mistake by Gomez. It fell to Fornal's feet, but his shot was pretty weak and pretty poor, and I feel like Alisson could have done a bit better there as well.
Yeah, I thought that it wasn't the best shot in the world, and it didn't look like he just about missed it. But at the same time, it's like the level Ali's at.
He went the right way, and he just really didn't get there. But you would think he probably should have,
because he was quite far away as well. So
yeah, I know Gomez was in front of him.
Exactly powerful.
You could say maybe he blocked his vision, line of sight, but
I doubt it to the degree where he couldn't save it. I doubt it. I think he just wasn't expecting it as much, so he probably just reacted too late, but still.
I'm going to say, does anyone have much to say up until the 40-minute mark? I literally thought up until this point it was a lot of Liverpool possession, a hell of a lot. A few times I was worried when I think West Ham maybe got a set piece or a corner or something, and Liverpool had to defend. But I feel like for most part, thankfully they dealt with it. Especially Nat Phillips.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I was going to.
Thankfully, other than that, I feel like up until the 40th minute mark, I don't believe Liverpool had a shot on target.
Nope. Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I just think overall it was a very poor performance from Liverpool, especially when you look at the lineup compared to Midtjylland. That was as strong as a lineup as we could have got, and it was West Ham we were playing. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like we were playing City or something, and it was just shocking. We didn't have a single shot on target. We didn't create anything. There was no chances.
Oh no, there was just nothing happening,
and we had plenty of possession.
I will say I do agree with that, but at the same time, it's also a West Ham that is more informed than usual.
Yeah, they have had a few decent
results recently. The counter argument from that as well would be that they missed one of their usual strikers.
Yeah,
Antonio or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, my counter argument to all that would be
kind of works both ways.
We are the reigning world champions, and we shouldn't be struggling against West Ham.
So ultimately, we are Liverpool, champions of the league and world at home with an impeccable now record.
Yeah, let me
matching
just say one thing.
home
If we'd have lost our unbeaten record at home to West Ham, you know,
That would
let's just say I
be
wouldn't be
FishStakes
happy.
in a nutshell.
Oh Christ. Yeah, let's just say I wouldn't be happy if that was the end of our unbeaten run at Anfield.
Well, would you rather West Ham or Watford?
Neither.
Yeah, these things happen. I can remember years and years ago. Granted, this is when Wolves weren't Wolves have dropped off a bit, but Wolves are a fairly respectable team these days.
I think I was at this game.
I feel like they've dropped this. No, I'm going on about a Man United game.
Oh.
But you might have remembered Liverpool
Well,
playing
you were at
Wolves.
that game.
I've seen Wolves beat Liverpool at Anfield many years ago.
But I can remember when United were on a very, very good run. I think it was either a good home run or a good unbeaten run. And at the end, I think it was Wolves beat them. And at that time, Wolves were all respect due to them, but they were fairly a bit of a nothing team. Everyone was no chance, completely written them off against Man United in this situation.
That always happens.
And everyone was just like, wait, what? You've beat all these teams and got this impressive run together, and then you just lost to Wolves. It was that. But
that was us 3-0 at Watford.
Yep.
It happens.
Absolutely.
It happens.
Does.
So we made absolutely no chances whatsoever, and then obviously the goal, 42 minutes, Mo Salah, which was a penalty.
Controversial one at that.
Kinda. But that was our only shot on target in the first half, and it was a penalty, so you would expect that to be on target.
What did you guys think about?
Any thoughts on the incident?
I thought it was a penalty. Don't get me wrong, he goes to the ground very easily, but we now live in a climate where you have to do that or you don't get anything.
Well, also, they're the rules. Everyone does it. We're not notoriously known for it. It happens to every team. People do it. If you feel something in the box,
the other side
you go
of the
down.
argument. When you're on the other side of that, it's annoying because they obviously dived, but there was contact, and it should have been a penalty. And had he stayed on his feet, he wouldn't have got a penalty.
There's no way it would have been given. I know it's
I don't know if it was worse
in this world these days.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing is every team does it. It's a tactic now. But I also thought it wasn't as bad as it originally was. When I saw it, I thought the whoever the defender was had just kicked Salah's foot in an attempt to get the ball, but apparently he also stood on his foot afterwards.
I don't
know.
See
I
that.
didn't
I mean,
see
I've watched it back. I don't think I've
but-
seen him stand on his foot. I mean,
I see him kick
I
his
saw
foot.
was,
I don't see him stand on his foot, but I was watching an awkward angle when they were showing that replay.
Masuaku?
Masuaku, yeah.
Masuaku, right. So all I could see was, I think Salah had the ball. He goes to kick it and he just kicks Salah in the back of the foot. Salah feels it and goes down quite dramatically. However, though, the times I've seen Salah get kicked in the box, stay on his feet, and it's been brushed away, and they won't even look at it. It's annoying that it's come to the case, but you're on the situation now where if you don't go to ground and let them have a look at it, it will never be given. It's annoying because it's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. It's like he gets kicked and goes down and gets accused of diving, and all the times, and meanwhile all the time he gets kicked to pieces in the box, stays on his feet and gets nothing from it, and says he should have gone down.
Yeah, but people don't notice that because people it doesn't bother them when that happens because it's not working against them. It's when stuff goes against them that they start kicking off a storm. But at the same time, it's if that was your team and that happened to you, you'd be celebrating it. So. Every team would. Every team would probably getting a penalty, and if that was your team, you'd probably be okay, go down.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the thing to take away from it is that it was a penalty.
Yeah.
He went to the ground, but it was a penalty regardless. So.
Yeah, you might argue it shouldn't,
he kicked
but
him.
it was. Yeah, the
as a
decision
defender,
was a penalty, so.
Yeah, I mean, just, jockey your man and
accept it.
Force him out of the box or force him to make a pass. Don't let him inside. You can't just kick him because you can't win the ball. So it was a penalty.
Yeah.
Score an own goal for us.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. So it was sort of like I feel like as soon as we got that penalty, in my mind, it was back on. It's fine now. Salah's going to score this, and then Liverpool are going to end up winning this game. Because it's what they do. I mean, I thought if we get one back before half time, this is it. Because I don't know why, but it happens so often.
I didn't think it was going to get given. I thought VAR were going to overturn it just because of the recent.
I was quite surprised as well. I've just got no faith in VAR anymore. Is what it is.
I don't. I really don't. Like you guys know, that entire game, every VAR decision, I went, "Oh, this isn't it. This isn't going to be for us."
More to
lost
come.
it. I lost it. I can't believe it. I can't believe you've done this.
So I'd say second half started, and I feel like again for large parts, it was much of the same. I thought Liverpool maybe started a bit better, but not as much of an improvement as I would have hoped.
Yeah.
Spurred on by the goal. Still not much happening. A lot of possession, creating some like half chances from memory from large parts of it, but nothing great again.
Anywhere near on the level of Liverpool.
Yeah. No like clear cut chances really from memory. It wasn't a great game.
No. So last season, Liverpool averaged 20 shots per game. In that game, we had a total of 9 shots. So that's less than half our average of last season. And only 5 of them were on target. And 1 was a penalty. So really, we created 4 on-target shots in the game.
I don't even think they were overly defensive either, so I don't even know if I excuse on that. Based off memory, I don't think they were like...
if you look at the possession, I feel like Liverpool had like something like nearly like 3/4 possession, so I think West Ham were set up to soak up.
73%.
Yeah. 73 to 27, yeah.
But it's Liverpool have faced these teams time and time and time again. The teams that want to make it difficult for them defend with like 2 banks of 4, or a bank of 4 and a bank of 5, and Liverpool have had to break these teams down, and so I don't know what's happened to them, to be honest with you. I mean, granted, it sort of goes back to, in my opinion, something that we touched on earlier, and I think what I said last time around, where all the goals typically for Liverpool for a long spell now in the Premier League have just come from Salah and Mane. And I thought Mane was pretty quiet this game, from memory. Obviously Salah got his penalty, but Salah wasn't great. And then like typically, like if you go back to when the front 3 were all scoring, like Mane wasn't doing much. Salah, so. I mean, he scored his penalty and he won the penalty, so fair enough. Again, nothing from Firmino at all for goals. And then if you look at the midfield, then at that point I couldn't really see Curtis Jones, Henderson, or Milner popping up with a goal.
No, Hendo did have a shot, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean
he did, and it was quite close.
Yeah,
but
he can pop up every now and again. He's got one in him, but
yeah, I mean it's a rare Henderson goal when it happens, but
it's like
when I saw it,
you shouldn't have to be looking to
Henderson
to
no
him to pull a goal for us. So then it was sort of a case of like what you do, and then comes 71st minute, Jota and Shaqiri come on for Jones and Firmino. Any complaints? Any thoughts?
No. Like I was again, I have nothing against Jones. I don't think he's good enough yet to be starting for Liverpool in the Premier League. I'd like to. I mean, Klopp doesn't take the cup seriously, so I guess he doesn't get many games in the cup because we're out of it in about 2. But I would prefer to see him play in cup games for now. I just think a lot of the time, if you just watch Curtis Jones, he gives the ball away so much, and he always, if he's in their third, he always takes a shot. Always. It's like, I don't know. It's like since he got that goal against Everton, which was a phenomenal goal.
He's been trying.
It's like it's in the back of his mind. He's like, I can do this. Like long shots, that's what I do. And he just always has a go, and it annoys me so much because as soon as he gets it at his feet, I'm like, oh, he's gonna shoot. And it's like he could play this off to someone, but he's gonna shoot, and he always shoots. So I don't like him being on the team, admittedly. So yeah, I didn't have a problem with him coming off. And obviously Firmino just hasn't been up to scratch lately. So yeah, get him off as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was fully in support of this, as I said. I thought Shaqiri was was good against Midtjylland, and I think which is probably why you think Origi and Minamino got taken off, but he stayed on. So I thought he's looked quite good, and he's actually, I guess, maybe playing in that sort of more like maybe advanced midfield role because I think that's what he came on to be in sort of midfield, and I think Jota went up with the front three. Feel like he's got that ability and he's got that attacking mindset to sort of like unlock the defense because he's got like the vision and he's nimble with his feet, so he can create the chances that maybe the midfield weren't. And then, well, as we know, Jota, he can score the chances that the front three weren't. So Jake, what happened next?
Well, I presume you're on about the controversial situation for this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a whole range
So
of
I think,
things. We
Mane
got
had
a
a
decent
shot.
chance. Mane had a shot. The goalkeeper saved it, but spilled it. And Mane ran to try and, again, just tap it in. Ended up, sliding into the goalkeeper with a West Ham player behind them. And the ball was, again, punched away by the goalkeeper, but it fell to the feet of Jota, who just nicely tapped it into the net for us. Now, I think I started celebrating. I won't lie about that. Started immediately singing his praises, and then up pops the VAR check.
Our friend.
The worst villain you can encounter in a football game.
And
Especially
I
if you're
love the
Liverpool
people
at
that say Liverpool because I'm like, do you want to tally
don't.
of the decisions that have gone against us? Do you really want like to?
No, but they don't care though. They don't care
I know.
because it worked for us last year.
I said that they only see the things that go for. I mean, granted, last year we had the armpit, we had loads of things last year, but thankfully we did enough to get past.
We've discussed.
We've already had the armpit this year.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but anyway, let's just focus back on the topic. What did you guys think of the situation?
Right, my initial reaction was I watched it and I saw it, and my literal first reaction to seeing it before I saw it back was, I think this is going to get overturned. I thought it looked like Mane collided with the goalkeeper, so I was sat there going, I don't think this is going to count. I watched it back though. When I watched it back and said he went in, and I feel like it was a 50-50 ball and Mane had every right to go for it, as he did. And from what I've seen in slow-mo, I mean, granted he went in, and he sort of slid in to try and I guess tap it in or just get it over the line, the ball. But I feel like to me, he didn't actually really make contact with the keeper. I thought his foot went under the keeper's arm and then the goalkeeper's arm came down on top of his leg. So I don't feel like Mane actually really made I mean, obviously they made contact, but only when his arm came down. It's not like he stood first into his arm. His leg was part past him and part that there was
thought.
Yeah, so there wasn't really much in it. And in my opinion, had he done that or not, the goalkeeper, I feel like that did not impede the goalkeeper at all, in my opinion. I don't think it would have affected it.
You could maybe argue that it put him in a weird position where he couldn't get back up as easy and save the second shot from Jota, but I argue back that if Mane wasn't there, he'd do the same thing.
But I
think it's too quick.
Watching it back, I just don't think it's a foul. And I don't think Mane fouled the goalkeeper.
I would if he'd slid and hit his arm, but after watching the replay, I showed his leg going under the goalkeeper's arm. I was like, nah, that's not.
Yeah,
that's not a foul.
So I personally think this one was a bit. I thought they were a bit hard done by, especially since they've reviewed it, because I don't particularly feel like he fouled the goalkeeper.
Well, we should mention as well that it wasn't the VAR didn't make a decision. They sent the ref to the monitor, which, as Jamie Carragher has mentioned, is purely a cosmetic thing now. Apparently they'll always keep their decision. Overturn their decision if they go to the monitor. They'll never keep it after walking away. So,
I mean,
it's first time, I think. I mean, in theory, but apparently, I don't know the facts, but apparently he thinks they never keep their decision. I have to go into the monitor.
I mean, yeah, but that
I haven't seen enough where they do it, so I don't know.
presumably that's because there's something to go and look at. Making contact with the keeper, but the defender. Because if you watch it back, his left leg, he leaves it like trailing behind him as he slides in, and it brings down the defender behind.
Well, then I'm sorry, but that's even more stupid.
Or blocked the shot from Jota. So then it is interfering with play.
I'm going to very cutthroat say that's even more of a stupid decision. Because I feel like out of that argument, if anyone's fouled by anyone in that scenario, it's going to be Mane from the defender. But, you know...
I feel like, well, I mean, I haven't watched it back, but I mean, I've seen it enough times. I know what incident you're referring to. I would say if you manage to take someone down with your trailing leg while you're facing the opposite way, that's quite a talented tackle.
Yep.
I feel.
If you want to talk about Salah diving allegedly, you know.
It's like, I guess it's sort of like running, and then as you're running, as your feet come up behind you to run forward, you hit someone who stood behind you. I'm like, is that really your fault?
If that's ever happened before.
Yeah.
Accident or not, if it happens inside the box, then
Okay.
I mean, was it confirmed that was what they were checking, or you're not sure?
They never really
was,
say.
It not.
I don't think.
Okay.
The defender and not the keeper, because he does. In fairness, he does bring him down, but it's whether or not you think.
I'd have to watch specifically the defender.
He could have got himself in front of Jota, or done something about.
I'd have to go back and specifically watch the defender because I wasn't watching him at the time.
I do think it could have gone either way. It was a little bit harsh. And the challenge was that they were gonna overrule it.
Oh yeah, I mean, by the time it was brought back around, I was like,
on for ages, didn't it? You know it's gonna happen. Normally, when there's nothing to look at, there's a few minutes. When it goes on for like 5 minutes, you just know, like they're talking about something. They're in there going.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll be honest. As soon as I saw it go to VAR, I just automatically assumed it would be overturned anyway.
Right, so that was
To be honest.
That was around the 80th minute, but of course, never say never.
78. Yeah, but Diogo took that personally.
Well,
Certainly
actually,
did. I mean, hold on, let's go on, James. I was going to say rewind a little bit back to when Shaqiri had the ball.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Personally, don't get me wrong. You have to be there to score him. Firmino sometimes is there and still doesn't score him. So all credit to Diogo Jota for putting it away. But I would say Shaqiri won us that game. That through ball, nutmeg through ball from Shaqiri, the vision for that's what won us that game, in my opinion.
I know. Absolutely cracking ball. And it sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I said, like, he's, like, don't get me wrong, I am not doubting the talent of Milner or Henderson in any way, shape or form and what they bring to the team, but he, like, I said, like, there's types of player that can see those passes and can unlock defences by doing things like that, and he's one of those people.
Going back to what I said about the Midtjylland game with his pass back to Trent, which was in a similar form, he's clearly one of the, well, I mean, basing off 2 games, but he's clearly one of those players.
Yeah, I really think he's a really great player.
Through ball. And then Jota ran onto it and smashed it home, 2-1 Liverpool. Do you have any issues with where Mane was stood, or nothing in it?
Nah,
Are you talking about this rumour that it apparently blocked the keeper's vision? Because it...
Nobody said anything about that.
That one's a goal. Like... We're not even arguing about that.
The argument about Mane blocking the keeper's vision, like,
and it's a bit.
If anyone's
cheap.
saying that, and I'm not just addressing this to West Ham fans, if anyone is saying that, mate, you need to get your eyes checked. I know.
West Ham have put in an appeal about it because they believe that Mane.
Oh my god.
What? The friggin' 3 points, not going to happen, but
I mean, if our stuff doesn't get overturned,
Wow,
you know,
wow. I mean,
why should that?
Wow, Christ. Wow. Okay. So, I mean, granted, if that gets overturned, can we get Mane on the keeper overturned? Then can we get Henderson for Everton overturned? And can we have probably?
Can we have forget a red?
Yeah. Can we have Firmino's armpit goal back as well? Then, please. Can we?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a full-on list of rubs.
I feel like
there isn't.
I feel like he was still in an offside position. I don't particularly feel like. I mean, obviously the goalkeeper could see him. Do I think he could?
Yeah.
By the
No. I mean, the
time- by the
goalkeeper could
time
see
it
a lot
could've-
of players, and I
by the
feel
time
like
it
he
could've
wasn't
affected
immediately
where
stood
he
in
was.
front of him.
Like Jota already ran past him by the time it could have affected him.
Hmm.
He'd already moved to the right to try and save Jota's shot.
Offside. He definitely didn't interfere with play. He in fact did nothing. Obviously because he knew he was
He
offside.
just watched it, yeah. He just watched it.
Mane to not do anything because your natural instinct as a striker would be to have got on the end
Try
of
and
that. But he
get
knew he
into
was
position
offside.
or something. Left it, yeah.
Like he doesn't even know where the keeper is behind him unless he's gonna like run away to make sure the keeper can see, which is unrealistic to expect him to do that. Like he just did nothing. He just stood.
Well, it's probably because he didn't expect. Like no one apart from Shaqiri and Jota probably expected that to happen. Even our own players probably didn't expect that to happen. So to try and say Mane should have run away from the goalkeeper to give him more vision is completely unrealistic.
Yeah, it's just a dumb, stupid.
It's
thing.
got no foundation. That argument. It's got nothing to it. In my eyes.
It was just a brilliant play by Shaqiri, and nicely finished off by Jota. Happy days. Job done.
Yeah.
As usual, bit of a heart attack city. Liverpool.
Yeah.
Indeed. Left it late, but they so often do. Stressed me out for the remainder of the game in extra time, but again, they so often do.
I was actually quite calm, to be fair. I don't know why. I wouldn't have guessed that was, but I was actually alright.
I mean, I guess in a way, I mean, I feel like when Liverpool fight back, when Liverpool get 2-1 up, it's very rare that it will end 2-2, in my opinion. I think if Liverpool get 2-1 up, typically they can see it out. Granted,
Which is essentially what.
if they had Van
Dijk,
Dijk, it was certainly going to be sore out, I would have thought. But
Yeah.
they've still managed.
I mean,
do you
I'd
have any-
argue that there wouldn't even be an initial goal if Van Dijk was there, to be honest.
True, very true.
I feel like Gomez would be much more relaxed and wouldn't do anything that he did like that. And I'm not saying he was bad, like he made that mistake, but then as Shane said, he played well for the rest of the game. So
It's alright. I'll expect Van Dijk to have the vision and the ability to go. Gomez is going to do something stupid here, so I best get in to block this. Your man of the match, James?
Well, annoyingly, that this one was Nat
yeah,
Phillips.
I think we all know.
Yeah, which has kind of influenced it. But I will say, long enough.
Yeah.
And he really only did one thing, although it was phenomenal. It did win us. Everybody sort of seen his name on the team sheet and be like, oh. And then to perform like that. Aerial presence, which we've lost without Van Dijk, and then without Matip as well. Because I feel like Matip would be our aerial presence.
Yeah.
Departments, but he was
Yeah.
certainly it. There was a couple of clearances he made with his head, so it's nice to have that.
No,
Without
that's
Van Dijk, so-
that's reassured me.
Yeah.
I do hope we see more of him.
So yeah, I'll agree with Nat Phillips.
He was who I wrote down too. I echo everything you've said.
Yeah, I did write down Jota originally for this, but then I thought, you know what? No, I'll give Jota the Midtjylland one because I wanted to give Jota my man of the match for one of these games because of the form he's been in recently. I think he deserves it, but I can't take that game away from that.
It's okay. You can give him man of the match tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully. Need a hat trick, please, Jota, and get you another man of the match.
Oh, he's only got a Jota another goal.
Oh no.
We hope. Okay. Anything else to say on that before we look ahead to tomorrow?
But we should probably mention that took us to top of the league.
Top of the league.
So we're now on 16 points.
After an Everton defeat, we've remained at the top of the league.
Yeah.
So happy days.
Yeah.
Tottenham creeping up. They've been quite impressive lately.
Tottenham,
16 points.
Bit scary.
How close are we to that game?
What,
I
Liverpool
don't think it's
to
for a while, is it? Yeah, I don't think it's for a while, is it?
I don't know, to be fair.
It's right.
Well,
They'll
that's
pop
pretty
us.
much all I have to say is top of the league.
16th of December, Tottenham.
Okay, that's not too bad. It's a bit away.
You know
It's
what
a
I
bit-
thought was quite funny, and I will say this just while we're sort of on that point. I was sent like a meme of was it Man United and Chelsea after the Champions League games? Because I think Man United won, was it 5-0, Chelsea 4-0, and then I think Spurs was it lost or drew in the Champions League? Of Man United and Chelsea laughing at Tottenham. And then I was sat there going, and my immediate response to this, have Man United and Chelsea seen the table? I'd much rather be Tottenham, if I'm honest. But anyway.
Yeah, it's weird. It's so weird.
Granted, some of the
City
games are a bit
10th,
over the place. We're still not
United
on level games, but it's,
Yeah.
and it's still relatively early days, so a lock and change of 3 points.
But even considering
apart
there's a game
from
in hand,
apart
it's
from
still
if you're
weird.
Sheffield or Burnley. Yeah, expect better from them. Then again, they played very well against Liverpool. I don't know what they've been like otherwise, but I feel like they played good stuff, just didn't get the results. Results that maybe they deserved. Right, tomorrow night, Atalanta away, 8 o'clock kickoff. Bit of a scary one. Don't fancy this at all. I feel like, then again, I've looked at Atalanta's results recently. They've been a bit hit and miss. Sometimes they seem to be scoring for fun, but they've actually had a fair few defeats recently. They've not been brilliant. But they did have a very impressive game in the Champions League. Was it 2-2 against Ajax?
Yeah.
I think so.
And I think they beat, was it Midtjylland?
Although,
4-0?
granted, Ajax
Was it
then,
4-5?
like, after our Ajax game, they went on to do tons of shit, so I don't know if they suddenly gained, like, motivation and a surge after our game. Because they won, what was it, 13-0 or something like that, and then it was like 5-4-0, something like that in the next game. I think it was in a domestic league, but
Would you?
if they suddenly snapped on into, switched on for
Do you want
their
me to?
Atalanta game, I don't know, but
Do you want me to tell you some comforting stats?
sure.
Liverpool's first ever time playing Atalanta.
Alright.
And right, brace yourself for this one. Jurgen Klopp has lost all 5 of his away UEFA Champions League matches in Italy.
Why did you say comforting? You've just like misled me there. I'm pissed off now.
I lured you into a false sense of security.
Yeah, you did. You really did.
So I don't know. I mean, I would say in my head, Liverpool do tend to struggle against these hard to break down Italian teams. So we'll have to wait and see, because I've got a sneaking suspicion with what Klopp has said recently about managing game time, and with the October being a busy month, then November being a busy month, and December being December, which is always a busy month, and trying to juggle players. I've got a feeling he's going to look at us top of the table with 6 points and think, you know what, if we get a draw, I mean, if we don't get anything or we get a draw out of this game, that's all right. because we can sort it out at home. So I've got a feeling there might be some wholesale changes to the team to rest players from Man City.
I'd rather this one than City because we have got that room to breathe. But I would like to at least go for it initially.
We'll have something to play for with City in terms of like, obviously they're really. So it is a big game with Atalanta. I think. You know, we'll get something out of that. We've still got Midtjylland away, which you would assume we would fairly comfortably.
And then was Atalanta at home's coming up too.
You could presumably we'll have a good go at that there. I mean, we don't lose in Anfield. That's how it goes.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, nice one.
Not lost against Anfield. Listen, you both bet against Liverpool on a regular basis, so you don't. You know.
Hang on, no. I don't do it on a regular basis. Craig does it on a regular basis.
Oh, I mean,
I've done it, so that's all I'm saying.
Elmo.
I've done it once.
Right. I said Liverpool to win, but concede first. It's a pretty sound bet.
Oh, well, Jake's just Liverpool to lose.
Mine's just I need to get some.
My bet on
James to
Jake to get salty watching Man United. Anyway, so I'm expecting back on for the team tomorrow. I'm probably expecting Reece back in defence. Maybe. Will he play Nico right back? He might do. Do we have another defender? I mean, we could have. I don't know. Is Van der Berg in? I feel like there's going to be pretty wholesale changes to this team.
Are you talking about Reece and Sepp? I don't think it's going to be that mad.
I really think it could well be.
I don't think it's going to be that.
So do I. I think it could be crazy.
I'm expecting probably Minamino to play, maybe Origi to play, Shaqiri or Jota, but I feel like I still don't think Shaqiri or Jota will be starting against Man City, but I feel like they're certainly going to be. I mean, they should certainly be in contention.
Yep.
And so I feel like, regardless, I feel like they'll probably have a part to play against Man City, but maybe one of those two will start. Might be Curtis Jones again in midfield.
I think it's been quite heavily hinted that Thiago will.
For
maybe
City or for
Atalanta, yeah.
But Thiago, I thought that. I think I read that Matip and Naby back in training, but apparently Thiago wasn't in training.
There's no decision. He has been in training last week, but there's been no sort of confirmation whether or not Naby and Matip are okay to
I guess it's
start.
I
haven't heard anything about him starting or being hinted to start Atalanta, but I get it.
Do you know who Matip reminds me of? Do you know the character Samuel L. Jackson plays in what's that film? Split or Glass?
Oh yeah, Mr. Glass.
Yeah. Matip is Mr. Glass. So I was like, please. I was like,
well, there you go, viewers. There's that image for you.
So please don't play him against Atlanta because he'll get a kick and then he'll be injured for City. So I'd rather he just stays off the pitch. I mean, I want to see him play, but I fear every time I see him play because of how badly it's.
If I could pick, I'd rather him go up against City. I thought he was good in the Everton game. He's good in the games he does play.
He is, absolutely.
And, it's a shame.
I just hate for him. I just hate to have City coming up and for him to get injured.
It's a shame that Phillips isn't in our Champions League squad, to be honest.
I mean, Phillips is an option for City.
Yeah, he is.
Granted, I don't know who's fit for City, whether Aguero may make a comeback or whether he's definitely not playing, but I mean, can Phillips handle Sterling? And
I wouldn't be surprised one way or the other, but I don't think he is, based on what I've heard and read.
Yeah, so, I mean, granted, I'm expecting wholesale changes tomorrow.
Yep. Do you think Alisson?
I might be wrong. Yeah.
I'd still hope we play Alisson, yeah.
I think he'll play.
Alright, okay, should we do predictions then? Score predictions.
I'll say
0-0.
Yeah, I was going to say 0-0.
You can still say 0-0.
I mean, if this is a wholesale changed team, it really wouldn't. But I said I would never predict a Liverpool loss, so I'm just going to say 0-0.
I'll go for a 1-1. Spice it up.
Who's going to score?
I'll go wild. Well, not that wild, but I'll say Jota will come on at some point and score a goal.
Okay.
Why not?
He's
been in
James, just for the sake of the points, you'd say if anyone is going to score, who's your goal scorer?
Minamino.
Okay.
Alright, Craig, do you want to do one since...
Yeah. I feel like if we do get a goal, it's going to be... I feel like Salah's going to be rested, so I feel like it's going to be Milner from the spot, because I reckon Milner might come on.
You seem to be putting Milner as your predictions.
He's my go-to wildcard, but like I know typically now if Salah's on the pitch, Salah will be taking all the penalties, but I've actually got a feeling. I mean, I feel like he's really gonna be resting him for City. So
all right. I've just realised as well. We didn't go over the predictions of West Ham, so I'll just quickly go through them. So I said 2-2 Salah Henderson. James said 2-0 Salah Robbo, which at one point almost happened. And Craig said Thiago and Wijnaldum 2-1.
Do you know what's annoying? I did say...
You changed it, yeah. You changed it because Craig said 2-1. Because you initially said 2-1 and then Craig said 2-1. You went, actually, I'll change it to 2-1. So Craig has quite literally stole a point off you there. So he's now on 2 points.
He's doubled his lead.
He's doubled his lead.
That's why when we were doing the predictions, I was like, you can go for the same prediction because I didn't want him to steal another point
James. From you. He's just like Loki.
Okay, and City predictions.
Oh God.
I'm gonna say
this is such a mess of a game. It's you could turn up and get absolutely battered. Like it literally, you could get battered. At the same time, Liverpool could batter City. I mean, Leicester did.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to be cagey. I'm going to say 1-1. Because I don't think... I mean, I really hope the goals don't start flowing, because I feel like if the goals start flowing, Liverpool have had it for most part.
And who's your scorer?
Milner penalty. No. Thiago. He's going to be back.
Yeah, and Thiago, a lot of goals as well.
I mean, he hasn't scored any.
Say you're going to go wild. You've got a 2-point lead.
I'll keep saying Thiago until he plays again, until he gets a goal. I'm going to be right one day. Maybe.
What's your prediction? Damn, I literally had wrote down the same prediction. Okay, 3-2. And who's your scorers?
Salah.
Jota. Milner pen. Robbo.
Mane?
Curtis Jones.
Who was that, Mane? That's the same prediction as me. That is the same prediction as me. I swear I'm not just copying you. Yeah.
Either going to be it's either going to be like a 1-1 or it's going to be goals at both ends. I think it's just.
I think it'll be. I feel like it'll be end to end. It'll go to 2-2, and then it'll be 2-2 for ages, and then right at the very end, we'll score.
It's like, can they make amends for turning up at the Etihad hungover last time? That's the question.
Yeah. I'll say it's like back and forth. It'll be like 1-0, then 1-1, then 2-1, then 2-2, then we'll get one at the end. So, yeah, same.
You know, City aren't really used to it.
I think he's too.
He's
too
a good
he
counter
hasn't-
for De Bruyne, so maybe we'll have a little bit enough to get us like a little goal.
Yeah.
And especially if Aguero's not playing.
I feel like on paper this is the most likely game for Liverpool to lose this season. I feel.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Agreed. Do you want to do the man of the match predictions?
I'm not doing that.
I mean, someone suggested it before. I'm just giving them the option.
VAR.
Yeah, I'll get the man of the match.
I'll predict this. I bet there's gonna be some.
Yeah, there'll be something. There'll be some sort of VAR piss take. Yeah. Don't know if it'll be for us or against us, but it's probably going to be against us.
I just hope I see Pep
Right.
livid again, shouting two at people.
Trent will say.
Like twice.
All right.
Twice.
Okay. There's a few more things I very briefly want to mention.
Go for it.
Very quick. There's been some more rumours with transfers, specifically defenders. In fact, really only defenders. Apparently, we are linked, quote-unquote linked, to Koulibaly. Apparently, we want to sign him. I think this is unlikely. Unless we plan to sell Matip and, Gomez as well. I think it's very unlikely that we'll get someone like Koulibaly. I think he's overkill for what we need. And I think Klopp would not sell Gomez, especially after he just, hopefully has done well for us so far. So I think that one's unlikely. David Alaba from Bayern. This one is slightly more realistic, but I still don't see it happening. Apparently the only reason we're linked with him is because he's yet to get another contract from Bayern, but it broke down. So, and considering our defence position, we might try and make an offer for him. Well, I think he's, again, overkill, but considering his contract situation, it might be more realistic. Personally, if we're going to go for one, I see it still being either Upamecano or Kabak, because they're younger, they're not as on the level as Alba and Koulibaly, and I can see that happening more. We might sell Matip, and it might be one of those where we rotate whoever we get. When Virgil comes back, we might rotate whoever we get with Gomez a bit more frequently. So I think that's going to be what we end up doing if we do it. Apparently there's more rumours about opening talks with Kabak. So that's looking the most likely option, although I still question how.
I mean, I know they have to sign
likely that it will
someone,
be.
and the thing is, though, I mean, I have to say, like, realistically, we're not going to see Van Dijk for a while, and then when he comes back, how long is it going to be? Like, how much will he be able to play, and how long will it be before
we'll be
he is
easing him
the
in.
Van Dijk again?
We'll ease him in.
So I feel like we may need we may need a solid centre back for a fair spell yet.
I feel like we will, but I feel like the likes of Alaba and Koulibaly are probably overkill. I can see us doing more of the Upamecano and Kabak route. The young ones with potential, room to grow, pairing up with Gomez, and then when Van Dijk does come back, it'll be more of a rotation between Gomez and them. I mean, that's just my opinion. But,
I mean, I'm not convinced we'll sign anyone until next summer, to be honest.
I hope we
No
do.
defenders.
I think we do.
No,
I think-
no,
I think it's likely we could bring someone in on a 6-month loan while Van Dijk is
maybe,
on.
yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring Carragher out of retirement. But I don't think. I don't know. I mean, we could do. We definitely need to. But I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't sign anyone.
Yeah.
I can see us
I
like
can see us bringing
Upamecano.
someone in.
Obviously, we have a really good relationship with Red Bull, but I don't think they'd want to
I'm
sell
German teams.
Upamecano. Like, I just don't see it. But I think they might be open to giving us him on loan for 6 months, maybe.
Well, I think the reason Upamecano has been brought up a lot is because of his release clause. I think that's the main reason why. Because I would agree. I don't think Leipzig would want to sell him, but apparently his release clause is pretty good for who he is. So
I just think
Building
he's
come
he's still only young. It'd be a great experience. Like, in their eyes, what an experience that would be for him. You know, it so much room there to. Good looking option for them and for us. So I don't know. To me, that seems like.
I think that's probably more likely. I know I'll reserve to be on with transfers, but at the same time, I would like to get someone actually signed, especially someone like Upamecano. But I do think it's unlikely.
I'd say just to bring it back around to the City game, 6 hours ago, apparently Pep said that he expects Aguero back after the international break. So that's
I thought as much.
So that's a good thing. In other news, despite recent lockdown news, apparently all 40 FA Cup Round 1 ties are going to be played. So that's going to be great fun to check some of the lower division teams are behaving themselves and not Rona plagued. And today I learned there's apparently a team called FC United of Manchester.
There's also another Liverpool team, isn't there?
Yeah, this was at AFC Liverpool, I think.
Liverpool, yeah. FC Liverpool, yeah.
So there you go. Obviously I'm just glad, well, I guess sort of glad we're not playing Ajax anytime soon.
Yeah.
In a way, I mean, I'd like to play in COVID-struck Ajax in a way, but then I'd also be terrified of any of us getting
results
so,
afterwards. Yeah.
So it's a I don't know.
I imagine it's not all of their first team. I imagine it's a mixture. I imagine they're just putting the plays they can put in together.
I will quickly bring it up. I guess we'll have to round this off then. Ajax become the latest Champions League club to be hit by coronavirus with 11 players testing positive ahead of their tie against FC Midtjylland. Not disclosed the names of the players, and it's currently unclear if Wednesday's meeting will go ahead.
Which, to be honest, would be better for us. Yeah.
Take points off Ajax and give points to Midtjylland, who probably won't achieve much anyway.
Yeah.
Probably. Then again, I mean, granted, if Midtjylland get a bye hilariously, and then if Liverpool play the kids and lose to Atlanta, it's they could be in contention soon, but we'll see. Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, it wouldn't be Liverpool if it didn't come down to the last bloody group stage to determine whether. Been there before.
Right. I guess that's it for me, unless anyone else has got anything to discuss.
Nope. Not from me.
Okay. Well, I get right. So next time we'll be discussing whatever happens against Atalanta tomorrow, and then the City game. Then it's international, so we'll probably have a week off, and then we'll be right back with it for I don't know who's going up, but I've got a feeling Leicester's soon, which is worrying because I think they're beating Leeds 2-0 at the moment. So F. So yes, I'd say that is goodbye from me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified whenever we put out new videos.
Damn it, slap the bell.
Slap the bell. Slap it real good. So yeah, that's goodbye from me.
Matane.
Ciao, mate.